let's go back to the phone lines. In September, he told us he was going to be done in November. He's not done. He's coming back in April. We're talking to Matt Brown right now. Matt, are you there?
Yes, sir.
I'm sorry for keeping you waiting, Matt. Al Iaquinta, he loves to talk. He's very passionate. So I feel like there's a few things that he said there that you can certainly relate to. But I do want to apologize for keeping you waiting. So let me ask you, Matt, September we spoke. It was a beautiful conversation. You seemed at peace. You looked phenomenal against Diego Sanchez. You knocked him out with the elbow from hell. I mean, it was like an axe. What a way to go out. And now here you are 2 months later, you're back. What happened? Why'd you change your mind?
Well, first off, I didn't mind waiting because, man, Al was just entertaining me the whole time. And I was like, I'll just sit online the whole time. I don't even need to do the interview. I'll just listen to Al the whole time. But it was pretty.
Thank you.
That was pretty awesome. But yeah, nothing really happened. I mean, look, man, Carlos is the type of guy you're going to get up for every time, right? Everybody wants to see. I mean, you're excited for this fight, right?
Yes.
Everybody's excited for this fight. There's no reason not to come back, fight Carlos. You know, I'm like you said, I'm at peace, comfortable, feeling good with my life and where things are at. You know, I don't have to come back, but when you get a call to fight Carlos Condit, a former champion and just an all-around warrior, one of the legends of the game, all the way back to the WCJs, then you sign that contract every time, and there's no way I'm turning that down.
So is it fair to say if you don't get the call to fight Carlos, you remain retired?
You know, that's a tough call, to be honest. I told Sean, I said, look, I don't want my contract suspended. I want to stay in the USADA pool. You know, send me names anytime something comes up. If something sparks my interest, then I'm right back in it. He actually sent me the Cowboy fight first. A rematch would have been what Yancy Medeiros ended up getting, but I wasn't able to. It was too short of notice. I wouldn't have been able to make the weight and everything that quickly. So, you know, because I had basically retired for the holidays and put on a significant amount of weight. But then I got back into shape, and they called me for Carlos, and I said, yeah, as long as the dates work out, let's do it. If it was but to answer your question more clearly, if it was a different person, it would be dependent on the person. There's a lot of people that I wouldn't be interested in coming back to fight. That's for sure.
When you walked out of the cage on November 11th after that incredible knockout of Diego Sanchez, did you think that it was that you were done? Did you think that was going to be your last fight, or was there a part of you that said, man, that went so well, I might have a little more left?
You know, it didn't have anything to do with the fight itself going so well, to be honest. It was more about how well the camp went, how well my mind was, and how well the people around me felt, and the entire whole winner. And it's the same in this fight, right? Win, lose, or draw. It comes down to a lot more. How's the camp? How's my body feel? How's my mind feel? How much stuff do my kids have going on? I have 3 kids now. You know, it's a busy life. So, you know, am I handling the stress better? You know, obviously it's not an easy sport that we do. Obviously, we put ourselves through a lot of pain, physical and mental suffering is always a daily part of it. And I think I've matured a lot and able to handle this stuff a lot better. So as long as I'm able to stay on the path that I stay on, could have a lot of fights left. But again, in September, I was not feeling that. I thought it all taken its toll on me, and I just didn't have enough left in the tank to really, again, like I was saying, then I didn't have enough left to compete at the top level. And that's really, if I can't compete with guys like the Condits or, you know, top 10 guys, then I should hang them up. There's no reason to be fighting just to be fighting, just to be making a paycheck to paycheck type fights and just being in there, just beating guys up or taking beatings, whatever. That's not really what it's about to me.
In the past, I've felt like when fighters start talking retirement, when you have a foot out the door, then it gets a little tricky because you're sort of in and out, and maybe you're looking for reasons to stay and you don't have the same motivation. Are you worried at all that just because mentally you talked about retirement, that this are you doubting yourself? Not I know you're full of confidence. You've always been that sort of fighter, but this is different, right? I mean, you left and now you're coming back. How does that feel?
No, that's a great point. To be honest, it was never about the confidence, I know, like you said, I mean, I'm that type of fighter. I have the confidence, but I'm very clear with everything that I'm doing, and I work specifically with, I have what I call a mental coach, and then I have also a dedicated sports psychologist, and I keep the right positive people around me that have, intelligent perspectives on things, and I'm very clear with what I'm doing. That there's not really a foot out the door type of thing. It may be a little bit more fight to fight now than it was before, where before I was, I had one long end goal, that the point A and point B. The point B was always the title, right, and be the best in the world. Now the point B may even be a better thing, because now it's just my next fight. Right now my point B is April 14th, and now it's easier to draw a direct line to that. So it could actually end up being a positive thing. And honestly, the thought of retirement has crossed my mind probably 100 times. I mean, I think this is probably a common thing with fighters. I mean, our sport, again, is very difficult and is very taxing, and especially I think with someone like me who didn't come from a wrestling background, or wasn't brought up really in a sports type scenario type thing, and I kind of made my own path and ended up in it. Just my journey's been a lot different. So I think I've worked harder than anybody else in this sport. So I think it's probably more taxing for me than others, and a lot of times you just kind of think to yourself, man, how long can I sustain this? How long is this going to be healthy for me to sustain? And different things like that cross your mind. So it's not like that was the first time that retirement had ever come into my thought process, but it was the first time that I ever committed to it. And to be honest, it wasn't nearly as bad as I thought it would be. So of course it was very short-lived, but for that short amount of time, it wasn't as bad as I thought.
Is it fair to say that maybe you're going to go until you lose? Like, do you think that, if that time comes, then you'll walk away? Or are you giving yourself a new deadline? How are you going to approach your career now?
Yeah, I could see that on the outside, someone looking at it like that, where on my side of things, it's really not about the wins and the losses. It's about the daily grind and the tax that it's taking, the toll that it's taking on my family, and different things like that. It doesn't really have to do with the wins and losses. That's sort of, in my perspective, that's really an American sort of Western thing, like the more Asian and Eastern cultures. It's not really about wins and losses. It's really something that's just over here in America. Everybody's like, you win, and you should just do this forever, and you're so awesome, and you're great. You lose, and you're just nobody, and you're only as good as your last fight, and things like that. Where I think I at least try to keep my mind more on the Bushido type mentality, and look at, I'm doing this for other reasons than just wins and losses, and of course that plays a part in it. And you can, you have to look at it objectively and see, if you're just getting smashed every time, maybe it's, maybe your nervous system is just slowed down too much, or whatever different things there is. But I try to keep that not. I'm getting.
You still there, Matt?
Yes, sir. Did I cut out on you?
Just for a second there at the end, but I think we still have you. It was a beautiful scene, as a dad watching you with your kids after your last fight. That stuff is the stuff I would imagine fighters dream of, to say goodbye with your kids in there. Did that play a factor in all? Like it was just so perfect. Did you not want to ruin that by coming back? Did you think about that at all?
I didn't actually. I mean, I guess I shouldn't say I didn't think of it at all, but that wasn't really a factor. I don't believe that it's unlikely for that to happen again when the next final retirement comes. So
Yeah.
I hate to, but like you said, it was a beautiful thing, and it's going to be something we remember forever. So either way, I'll just take it for what it is, man. But that was in the past. Now we're looking towards the future.
This is a fight longtime fans will remember, has been talked about, has been booked in the past. A lot of people have wanted to see it for several years now. Why does it interest you so much? Why do you like, Carlos came back as well. He sort of left. I mean, there's some similarities there, although his quote unquote, retirement, if you will, lasted longer than yours. But why does this fight interest you in 2018?
Well, again, I tell you what that probably motivates me is from the outset, I've always wanted to be a champion. I've always wanted to be a champion. And Carlos is a former champion, and I don't know for sure if he's really where he was when, mentally or physically when he did have the championship. But so far at this point, everybody that I have fought that has either been a champion or fought for the championship, other than Wonder Boy, I've lost to. So, I want to beat someone that was actually a champion in the past. That'd be Hendricks and Lawler. Both those guys I lost to. That's just a mental thing, and of course, I mean, a fight with Condit again. He's a legend. He's an exciting fight no matter what, and I want to test my skills against him. We were supposed to fight before, like he said. So I mean, there's so many things. I have a lot of respect for him. I mean, there's so many things that excite me about this fight. I would say the number one thing is, beating a guy that has been to that level. And after that, I'll reflect and look in the mirror and say, okay, now, do you have what it takes to beat a guy that's at that level right now, which right now is Tyron Woodley? Like, do I have what it takes to beat that guy? I tell you, in September, I didn't think that I had that in me. I changed a lot of things. I put a lot of things in place that should have been in place a long time ago, and I'm implementing a lot of the things that I should have implemented a long time ago. And I felt like I could have beat anybody in the world that night that I fought Diego. And if that's a repeat process again this time, then you can see more fights out of me. If it's not a repeat process, then again, we'll look in the mirror and we'll figure it out.
Did you watch his last fight against a guy Neil Magny? If so, what did you make of Carlos's performance?
I watched it, and I thought Carlos looked a little bit rusty, and then he started to find his rhythm again. But it felt like he never had a sense of urgency, really. Until maybe the very end at best. And it's my opinion that he, and also, you congrats to Neil, right? Like, Neil may have been the one who did that to him, too. It may have nothing to do with Carlos at all. Carlos may have been 100%. But I think that Carlos probably wants to come right back, redeem himself after that fight. He probably knocked off some of that ring rust and wants to come back and make an example out of me and show that he, he's back. And he didn't get a chance to show it either because of Neil or because of himself. And, so I think he's going to try and make an example out of me. So I think it makes for an even more exciting fight.
Just curious, where will you be training for this fight? I know you've done some boxing training recently. I saw Ellie Seckback doing some videos of you training boxing exclusively. Where will you be training for this particular fight?
I'll be doing my camp in Colorado. I'll be doing part of it out at the Muscle Farm Gym in LA. I've been doing a lot of work with them. Thanks to those guys for really supporting me the whole time. And we're going to be building a great thing out there. Whether I retire or not, I mean, it's going to be something that's going to be a long-term project that I'm working with Muscle Farm on. We're going to be building a great thing. We have a great facility right now, and I'll be building a lot more. So I'll be doing part of the camp out there, and I'll be doing part of the camp, part of the finality of the camp here in Colorado with Team Factory X, my longtime coach, Dorian Price, and, a few other guys that My shoot coach, Chris Nice, where I just came from, forgot water, so my mouth is kind of dry. So forgive me if I'm, a little rusty voice, a little rusty sound of voice. But yeah, so I'll be, working with the same people I've been working with for a long time now, and we're going to make sure this is a really strong camp, and we're going to come in looking good for Carlos.
Well, welcome back, Matt. What a story. I mean, we've been talking about this fight for so long. People very excited, regardless of what happened in Carlos's last fight. It's happening April 14th. It's happening in Glendale, Arizona. We found that out on Friday. And we know also that the main event is Justin Gaethje versus Dustin Poirier. Two very exciting fights, two great matchups. So I know a lot of the fans in Arizona. It's a big Fox fight as well. I'm very excited about that. Thank you for doing this, and thank you for coming back, Matt. After that last performance, I was wondering if you'd be able to, to stay out with that. I mean, it really was like an axe what you did to Diego Sanchez, and so here you are. Let's do it again. Well done. Congrats on getting the fight, and again, welcome back. Thank you for doing this.
Yeah, thank you. My pleasure.
All right, we'll talk to you soon. There he is, the immortal one, Matt Brown. He doesn't want to go away. It's going to be hard to get him out there, and he breaks that 3-fight losing streak in November against Diego Sanchez. Again, the elbow from hell, the axe elbow from hell. They cut away, remember that? But Diego went down. He sticks around. He gets to Carlos Condit fight. It's going down April 14th in Glendale.